You don't always actually have to be at home to have a home match or something like that. All that matters is that Orange County got 3 points on Saturday night. It looked weird. It felt weird for some of us, but it was a good result. We'll chat that and a little bit more. This is the podcast of your 2021 USL Cup final champions. This is the Orange Black SoccerCast. Hello. Ray is not here with us tonight, so my apologies if you expected him. However, we've got a full cast of fun planned for us tonight. Let's get right into it. Brad, welcome.
How's it going? How's it going to my favorite NPR adjacent announcer, Dylan? Welcome to the Orange Black SoccerCast show, and I'm excited to be here.
Okay. I mean, I felt like I was pretty chipper, as it were, but I understand that my idea of what might be chipper differs from others. I will, however, say that of the two of us currently speaking, only one of us has ever been on national television shirtless, spinning his shirt above his head. So, I could be plenty chipper, Brad.
I was on ESPN playing Rocket League against that one defender from Lou City. I think that was pretty cool.
I want you to spend the next 2 minutes trying to figure out who that exact defender was, and maybe we could find some of it. But we got some other people. Matt, welcome to the show.
Dylan, I'm always here to make you look chipper, okay?
That is true.
I'll always be the resident, calm, cool, collected, and I'll let you take the excitement.
Thank you. It's my metamorphosis into a Ray-esque character. And of course, this man perhaps is the most chipper of all of us. Welcome, Mikey, to the
Hey, what's up, guys? Thank you for having me on.
It's a pleasure. For those of you who don't perhaps know Mikey, if you are looking to terrorize the streets of St. Petersburg, Florida, at any hour, day or night, there is nobody better to do it with than Mikey. Also, San Diego or perhaps Lancaster for those places as well.
Way too much fun.
That's why we're here, right? It's lower division soccer at the end of the day. This is meant to be fun as we head up to the 8-year mark of the show. So, it's been a party. I see Brad is just researching away. So why don't we just get right to it? Let's talk about Saturday night's match in Santa Ana for the first time in a long time. Technically, I believe the LA Blues played a friendly there way back when. If you would like a deep dive into the history of Orange County's time and experience in Santa Ana, our wonderful writer, Nathan, wrote a great article that I would highly recommend on our website. But, for now, let's chat about the game. Matt, you were there. Why don't you kick us off with your thoughts from Saturday night?
Exciting game, fun game, maybe not a best game. Maybe we didn't necessarily deserve to win game, but we did win game. So, yeah, it was a great time. Really glad to see we could fill the stadium as much as we did. Sometimes you worry if it's outside your usual digs that people just won't show up or aren't used to it. So really glad that we got such a great turnout, had a really good time, got the win in front of hopefully some new fans that might want to come check it out. So yeah, it was a really fun time, and glad we got to experience something a little different.
A little different isn't all bad. I mean, hey, there's some grass berms with some SoCal native plants on the side, so it should have felt somewhat comfortable and familiar in comparison to the champ. Mikey, how was your Saturday night? How'd you like this match?
It was amazing. The atmosphere was exciting. It was electric. It was great seeing a bunch of locals out to the game, which was awesome. The food there was delicious. I don't know if you guys tried the tamales. They were delicious. The empanadas were bomb. Definitely a great game. Those 2 goals were just amazing. Definitely lit up the crowd. Hell yeah.
I feel the need to specify since we technically scored 3. Mikey, which of the 2 are you referring to?
Oh, see, that's how gone I was on Saturday. No, I'm just kidding. No, the first goal was awesome. Definitely got everything going. Got everybody in the right mood. The players, everybody in the stands. It was awesome.
I love that. I will say, watching from afar, I unfortunately had to watch this one after the fact and absolutely knew the result going into it. Every time I checked the score of this match, someone scored. So us scoring that early, I was a little bit worried about us. That we were going to be able to actually score again and pull off a result. Brad, since I haven't heard from you, 1, would you like to tell the world who you played Rocket League against? And 2, why don't you tell me your pick of the 3 goals?
Yeah, back in the 2020 COVID era, I got to play Rocket League against Shantosh. And honestly, it was, don't watch it. None of us were good. The guy from, I think, Omaha was the best player in the whole bracket. It was 1v1s, and it was just cool seeing myself on ESPN getting broadcasted by Devin Kerr and Mike Watts. That was kind of the most interesting part, but COVID was crazy. To answer the follow-up question, honestly, this game was extravagant to watch, starting with the Alcazar header, a couple goalie mistakes, and really, Orange County kind of cementing the fact that we can score. Felt really good. This was probably, minus the 2 goals we let in. I think a little bit of grief has to be given towards Duty and towards Rando for the 2 goals. Other than those 2, blemishes on the radar, which I think were just basic mistakes that we shouldn't be making, Orange County was the better team in this game, and I think it showed through. I think the team showed that they were definitely poised, ready for this game, came out fighting, knowing that they're not going to be home for the next 7 or 8 weeks. So 100% Orange County really did step up and showed what we expected to see out of them early on in the season.
All right, Brad, I'm going to follow up here. For those of you watching along, we just watched Oakland level the scoreline on 40 minutes. Do you think that is the goal that Grayson Duty needs to do better on?
I think he kind of gets caught in a little bit of a no man's land. Seeing the replay, he kind of just sticks his foot out. He's not really playing the man. He's kind of playing the space, and the ball kind of just goes past him. Definitely think he could have played the man a little bit closer there. There's nobody else for the ball to go to in that situation, but I think I might have been a little harsh on him. Just knowing he was in the area, I thought he could have gotten a better touch, but he was kind of at full spread eagle there.
Fair enough. Matt, I feel like you might have a dissenting opinion here, so the floor is yours.
No, I mean, this game was really weird. Like we're seeing it again on the screen. This game was a weird track meet that was terrifying at times. They just kept playing the ball down the right side like they're doing right now. And then it seemed like there was 5 times in the space of what felt like 5 minutes where they just blasted down the right side and had some kind of chance. Overall, I think maybe we had a better game than them, but I think they probably had the more chances. It felt like, at least. That could just be biased because they had a bunch of chances down the end that we were sitting in. We were on the top left of your screen that just went away. So for us, that first half when Oakland just kept coming down that right side and attacking was right in front of us. So, could be some bias there on just making it look like it was that. But no, I think with the Duty thing, he does need to do better there, I think. But at the same time, I do, having seen it for the first time or second time for me, and with a hindsight of a replay, Brewitt does get the touch there that maybe kind of throws him off a little bit. So I'd give him a little grace on that, but I think he does need to do better. And then I think we're going to see in a pretty soon Rando make a absolutely needs to do better mistake on that goal.
On that.
And I'm curious to see it again because I have not seen this game back. So from our angle, that was like just insane because, again, we were at the top left of the screen here. And so for us, that was on the other side of the field. So it was kind of hard to see. And it just looked like he just came out for no reason and just gets the ball dribbled around him and scores very easily. So
it's fair. I will take a minute to say this was a hard game to watch, and it's just because, and Matt, you alluded to this just before the show when we got on, but it is hard to watch hash marks. It's hard to figure out what's going on and where people are other than in relation to one another. So, if there's a biggest downside from this match, maybe that's the one. That being said, for the people there, seems like it was a roaring atmosphere. I am very upset that I was at work. I'll put it that way, because I much rather would have been there. All the same, previously, I think we've talked about the fact that we have a fullback in Ryan Dogman that can get high up the pitch and provides a lot of width for us and attacking threat. It's not necessarily a huge surprise that a team would just go, oh, well, we'll just play it up and on the right on the break, especially against a team that presses like Orange County and have some level of success. Thankfully, if I were to describe this match Orange County wise, this was an offensive output built on composure. It seems like Oakland not quite there, for better or for worse. Defensively is a different story. Mikey, I'll go to you here. What's your takeaway with the defense on Saturday?
They were definitely falling back. They got beat a few times. It was kind of hard to watch the game from where I was sitting because the pitch is so tight. It was really close to the wall. Like, I would sometimes lose the players, but it was a tight game. Simple mistakes that OC could have, prevented, but things happen.
Things happen. Is this Mikey? Is this a match where the result is more important than the performance?
Yes, definitely. Doesn't matter how we win, by an inch or a mile, winning's winning.
I to a point agree with that. I think in a situation like this where we play quote unquote away from home, if you will, that playing an entertaining match is the best case scenario. If we win this match 1-0 and it's a Matt, for you, a Mourinho-esque performance, it might not get the crowd going, but scoring, like you said, in the 7th minute, Mikey, puts the crowd in the right mindset, and then just let the chaos reign from there. After all, it is the USL Western Conference, everybody. Yes, producer.
I want to clarify. I can just make Fast and Furious reference.
You're cutting out, but did you just make a Fast and Furious reference?
Yes.
This is the part where I admit publicly that I've never actually seen any Fast and Furious movies.
Dude, we need to talk.
Dylan's
later.
not part of the family.
Yeah, he's not family.
This is the meme where they're driving next to each other, and I admit publicly that I have never seen the movie, and the rest of you continue on the other road. I bear left, you continue on straight. Everything I know is unfortunately from memes, and I'm sure I'll get clowned on this forever.
You've got homework to do.
I've got homework to do. I have what feels like probably about 30 hours worth of movies to watch. So I'll get right on that, you guys. I'll get right on that. Mikey, any final thoughts about Saturday night's match that you want to talk about, even just for you or the team?
We definitely need to have at least more games, at least one game a season at the Santa Ana Stadium. Definitely.
I saw this floated online for a moment. It's, I think, no secret that Orange County or the city of Irvine relays the pitch in June most years at the Champ. Doing a one-off match every once in a while in Santa Ana would be awesome. Doing it around the same time every single year would be awesome. As much as I want us to play in Santa Ana, Eddie Westfield, unfortunately, is turf. It really just lacks the kind of, professional standards that I so often complain about this league not having. in a mythical universe in which I have more money than I know what to do with, Orange County probably just plays in Santa Ana in some amazing stadium and everything's perfect. Alas, I don't think my wages are going to cut that one. Matt, what would you like to talk about from this match?
I do want to echo what you said there, that I think it is important that it was a decent quality, higher scoring match. I think if you came out to this game and you're someone who's not used to our league, our team, all that, you might come out and you go, okay, this is some like lower division soccer. Maybe, I saw countless fans that were rocking their Liga MX, kits, whether it was America Toluca, whatever. You're used to that level of soccer and you come here, you could be thinking like, okay, this is going to be some, high school level soccer where it's just hoof it down, no one can control a ball, whatever it might be. I think despite the field being a little weird compared to our usual when it comes to bounces and stuff, you could tell in the beginning of the game that there was a little bit of a struggle with getting used to how the ball bounces. We were watching the warm-ups before the game and you could see them having to kind of get used to how the ball rolls and bounces a little differently on the turf. But I think both teams showed out pretty well and kind of gave a good advertisement, if you will, for our league, for our team. Like you said, if it was a 1-0 and players couldn't control the ball and, you just had kind of some, go off someone's behind and into the goal for a 1-0, that feels a little different than a pretty electric back and forth game that I think, like I said, it was a good advertisement for the league. I would probably agree with Mikey. I've kind of gone back and forth on the one game per year. At least I feel like we should have a preseason game or some type of friendly at the stadium once a year. That I think would be awesome. Whether I'd want a league game, I think I was against it until I heard the idea of like, okay, well, in June we tend to renovate the field. So maybe rather than having our seasonal long stretch of away games that is exacerbated this year by the U.S. men's national team, but we tend to usually have it anyway for the field renovations and whatnot. I wouldn't be against it. Maybe the teams gets used a little more to the field and the turf and all that, but I could see both sides of the argument, honestly.
Hey, modern day football is not playing in June, at least. I mean, not yet. It's like probably 20 minutes until high school players are being paid a la NIL deals, but whatever.
Modern day players,
what do I know?
That's if anyone is.
I'm just gonna choose to bite my tongue before this gets litigious. Brad, you had some thoughts.
Yeah, so I did have some thoughts on kind of the field. I know on our little pre-show, compare it to the situation that Indy 11 had when they were sharing Lucas Oil Stadium with the Indianapolis Colts. And I thought it was a very, although it's a outdoor versus indoor stadium, the fact of the matter that, watching the pitch with the NFL college football lines and kind of seeing how that looks on the pitch itself was definitely an interesting experience. 100% agree. If the team wants to aggressively campaign for a game like they did for this Santa Ana game, I know that they drew in 7,500 was the announced number, which is a pretty respectable attendance. It's definitely more than we've had at championship soccer stadium because that stadium itself can't fit 7,000 people. I know the team did aggressively campaign for it, and they did honestly look to also have a beer fest. So kind of, stacking the cards in the favor of getting people to go. I'm very curious. Obviously we don't have a front office member of the team to tell us what they think of it right now, but it's definitely a question I do want to ask, and if I could get an honest response of, did the result of having 7,500 people, was that what the team was looking for? Were they expecting more? Were they expecting less? Are they proud of that number? I don't know. I don't know what the correct answer is there. And, we might not ever know the correct answer, but it's definitely, from a fan perspective, was an interesting thing to see. I think the team should be definitely proud of the showing from fans that they got. And then as for the final results on the pitch, I know Matt had alluded to Rando's mistake that led to the second goal kind of being caught out in nowhere land there. I don't know if we wanted to circle back to that at all, because that was kind of a little bit of a gaffe from Rando kind of being out in nowhere. But, Stephen Kelly right before that had a goal that came off of a similar gaffe from the Oakland keeper. And you can't sell Silla's goal short. That was an absolutely amazing goal. Definitely worthy of the player of the week call up. I think he was on the team of the week, not the actual player of the week, if I'm standing correct there. But a lot of good things on the pitch that we saw this week, and a lot to be proud of, and a lot to take away and learn from the team as they go into their extended time off. I know some of the players have already left town.
Brad, two things. I do believe you're sitting, but yeah, all the same. I don't remember what the second one was. It was probably just as lazy of a joke, to be completely honest with you. And Mikey, we haven't heard from you in a minute. Let's chat about the chaos of goalkeeping while we watch it. What's going on there? I go to you for vibes, but tactical analysis is welcome too.
Oh, well, you're talking to the wrong guy. But no, yeah, keeper was all over the place. We definitely need to be looking for another keeper. That wasn't a star performance. That goal right there was kind of embarrassing. But
this might be the most. All right, I'm going to turn it to the rest of. I can't even gather my thoughts here. Matt, do we need another keeper? I mean, is this just a one-off weird thing, or is this signs of something bigger for you?
I don't know if we need another starting keeper. I think Cadono's performances recently make me wonder if maybe someone to challenge Rando would help a little bit. I don't know. It's a one-off. It's one of those that you kind of expect to see at a lower level of soccer. It's a typical, you think you should come out, you think you got it, and then, I mean, that one was, you never had it. I don't know why you thought you had it, but, I'll give him a little grace on it. That's just one of those ones, and especially on turf. I think that's also another thing is maybe on grass that ball skips a little more. He has a little more time. It's hard to make some judgments on the players on specific things that happen in this game because, like I said, in the build-up or before the game started, you could see that players were not sure how balls were going to bounce off that turf. It's definitely different, and so maybe on grass he doesn't second guess himself and he comes out and clears it, or it skips a little harder, a little more wet surface, and he is able to clean that up easily. Who knows? But yeah, it was a yikesy one, but
it's fair. I appreciate the way that you're perhaps able to read my mind and just get out what I'm trying to think of, which I don't want to be too harsh on Rando. It almost feels like that mistake is out of character more than anything else. He's been largely, an above replacement player for Orange County. We've been defensively very, very good. This feels like a completely chaotic match. But Brad, do you feel similarly? Do you disagree? Are we stuck 2-2 here?
Honestly, I think the mistakes that both teams made were jarring, but I think the better team did win. I know Matt pointed out rightly that Oakland did have a lot of opportunities, a lot of chances. I said this a lot last season, though. Good teams make luck, and Orange County is a good team that made a lot of luck this game. Couple things to clean up. Obviously, their XG was a lot better than ours, but I think the better team did win on the night.
I'll take it. I'm going to ask the three of you, whether it be about the performance, about how things were going in the stands, just one final sentence about Saturday night. Brad, why don't you lead us?
I'll just repeat what I just said, but with a little bit more gusto. The better team won on the night.
I don't know if that was this feels like another reference or impression I'm just not going to understand. So, Matt, please help.
Yeah, I think we took our chances. I think that's what it comes down to in this game. I think when we watched the replays back, I did forget that they had a pretty similar chance to what Scylla did. Volley that they put just wide. Ours went in. You can have all the chances in the world, or all the attacks down that right side that you want, but they don't lead to anything, or more than one doesn't lead to anything. Then that ain't gonna win games. You don't win games by having more attacks down the right side, going like you said behind Dogman. You win the games by putting the ball in the back of the net, and we did that 3 times to their 2.
Hey, fair enough. I mean, you still got to convert the chances that you make. Gabriel in the chat saying that he thinks Rando plays in a way where he looks weird and uncertain, but it's hard to argue with the results. I like to agree with that. Phil Jones was often derided for his chaotic approach to defending, and for perhaps a more Orange County focused thing, Edson Alvarado never really looked like he was super comfortable, but for a month in 2019, he was absolutely unplayable on the left side of our midfield. Mikey, one final sentence about Saturday night.
Great game. The team went out, fought really hard. They made a few mistakes, but we got the win. Great atmosphere. I would love to do it again.
More beer fests, more games in Santa Ana. It's nice to show that Orange County is, more than Irvine, and it was nice to have one in the Queen City again. Brad, take it away, my friend.
Yeah, so obviously no game coming up this upcoming weekend. The team has earned a bye weekend, good on them. It's been a long, I don't know if you would call it long, but we played 15 matches in the last, 13, 14 weeks, including all competitions. The team's definitely earned a break, but that kind of leads us into this, time where we get to discuss where we feel we're a little bit more than a third of the way through the regular season, 30 match games. And I asked this out of our guests who joined supporting other clubs, and I wanted to, do some self-reflection as a team. And one of the things that I always ask is, give a report card score grade for your team. And in the case of us, I'm going to ask you guys to justify it as well. If you want to break it down a little bit further, you're more than welcome to. But if you were to give this team a report card, Dylan, I'm going to start with you because I know that you've got, the more tactically thought out answer on hand ready to go because we do this every week. But Dylan, what would you score Orange County 11 games into the season on 19 points?
I remember in 8th grade, I brought home a report card and I had an A- on it. My mom said, I mean, that's great, but let's make that an A. And I remember being really hurt by that, and clearly because I've brought it up, almost 20 years later. But anyway, Orange County isn't perfect. I think we saw that on Saturday night. But at the same time, with 19 points from 11 matches, I think that's 1.72 points per game repeating, 1.72 repeating points per game. That's far and away enough to be in the playoffs. Teams that have done better than that in the past are historically like Louisville last year, Phoenix when they went on that weird run of 20 plus matches without losing, or I think 20 straight wins or something like that. We're performing well. Nothing's perfect, but we're there. And as far as the Open Cup goes, I mean, whatever. It's just more matches that we would have to shove into this portion of the year that I don't particularly care for. And as far as the USL Cup goes, maybe in 40 years I'll care about it. But for right now, it just feels like more fixture congestion that we could do without.
All right, Matt, I'm going to pass it off to you as being the second most tenured member that isn't me on the show. Where do you kind of put Orange County 11 games into the season?
I just want to say I had the same story as Dylan, except mine was a C-, and my mom said let's bring that up to a C. So standards,
Go Moms.
Yeah, when I look at the table, I want to say A-. However, a couple of caveats that I'll say. One, we've had more home games than we have had away, so I think I would expect us to be a little higher than we maybe should be. Two, the cup games have been disappointing all around. So considering that, I would probably go with a B plus. I think we're right there. I think the defense has been outstanding. Goalkeeper's been fine. Could have scored maybe a few more goals to kind of get maybe to bump that up to an A minus, but I don't think I could go any lower than a B plus, considering like Danny said last week, we're second place right now. We just beat a team that's right there next to us. I'm trying to think of any other reason for my arguments here, but I think that really covers it. I think if we would have won one of those cup games, maybe it bounces us up a couple more goals. But when you're sitting in second place, you can't be too disappointed. And as long as we have a decent run of games here with the 10 away games in a row or whatever it is that we have coming up, I think we'll be right there ready for our second half season push. And hey, let's not forget, every single year we're terrible at this point in the season, give or take, not counting maybe one season. So if we can put together a run like we have done in multiple seasons now towards the back half of the season, then we've positioned ourselves really well to have that platform to jump off from.
Yeah, Matt, I know you said 10 games away in a row. I think it's 7, but I also don't have the math out in front of me to justify either one of our answers being correct. Mikey, I'm going to pass it off to you, but before you answer, I want to just point out, and you can use this as you will, 11 games into the regular season last year, Orange County had 13 points in USL competition. So with that knowledge in mind, Mikey, I'd like you to give your grade on where we're at in the season so far.
Definitely a B. I agree with what Matt said. Definitely, we could have done better, but, mistakes were made. We're looking great right now so far. I mean, we can't always be perfect either. But as long as we're not way down there, I think we're doing pretty good so far.
Awesome. I'm going to go ahead and give my grade. I'm going to agree with the majority of you guys. I think this is a B plus, maybe an A minus so far. I think we are all in agreement that I think Orange County on the result sheet is outkicking their coverage. And with 11 games in the season, they've only allowed 10 goals, which is still, below a goal a match, which I think is absolutely fantastic. We haven't been getting punished a lot on the score sheet for a lot of the errors we're making. But at the same time, we're keeping a little bit ahead of other teams when it comes to scoring. Besides that, the teams performed quite well. Limiting the losses to only 2 so far in the season is definitely something to be proud of. And I think we should reward them with a strong goal or strong grade as a result of that. But, I think just like you all said, there is room for improvement. We've seen a lot of success from our younger players, but we also haven't seen, I don't know if we've seen more than 1 or 2 Zubac goals in the season. And I know our good friend DK might be a little upset that he hasn't gotten 10 yet, but I think we need to see a little bit more out of our strikers and collective attacking group as a whole to really round that grade up into a solid, college A grade.
Producer Andy would like us to point out how many losses the Roots have and who handed them said losses. I'll just add on to that one by the wonderful commentator's curse of the Oakland Roots have not conceded. Well, technically what was said was the Oakland Roots have not conceded a corner this year. Obviously, they've not conceded from a corner, and then Nico Benalcazar gets to stand by himself in the box for 3 seconds and have probably the easiest header of his life outside of training. So that was a beautiful moment. And yeah, so sorry, Roots. Evidently, we have your number. I mean, it really was. This is why I harped the composure. Nico gets to stand there, but he doesn't start running around trying to cause problems. He's just he's a pylon. He's a gigantic orange pylon. And it's so
traffic
easy.
cone, if you will.
A traffic cone, if you will. Yes. And Chris Hagart gets to just look up and go, I can probably serve that. And, gets the people going. It's a win.
Also,
Honestly, that was a beautiful, team effort. Definitely something that they worked on the training ground because, it wasn't just a direct corner. There was a bunch of movement to it in the box as well as, Hagar getting the ball from a short corner.
It took a couple watches to figure out exactly how Benalcazar got open, and I realized he pretty much just stood there. Matt?
One thing we didn't really go into a lot of like individual performances, but I thought Pizzini had a pretty good game. Speaking of not Zubak, I think he had a great game. One or two chances he could have maybe done a little better with, the one where he kind of fell and kind of missed the ball. But I thought he proved that I think maybe he should start a few games and give him a little run, see how he looks. Also, I don't know if the graphic's going to come back, but am I the only one that appreciates when our form is a palindrome? I don't know why. It always makes me happy.
Man, I'm a little disappointed in the red character halfway through that says L, but other than that, it's very satisfying.
It's very satisfying. Thank you.
I wouldn't mind a bunch of repetition of just W's in a row.
That would also be a palindrome technically, but
yeah, I mean,
That's a dream come true.
it is pretty cool. If only this were possible with, like the 4-2-4. That does look very nice that Oakland has that going for them. But of course, what feels nicer is the fact that we beat them for the second time this year. Gabriel, again, in the chat, pointing out really wonderful things. We've had 5 away matches in the league. We've gotten points for 4 of them. Orange County is actually doing pretty well on the road. And I think traditionally in this league, we've discussed probably every single time that we have an away match. Is it the travel? Is it the fact that it's really hard to travel in this league because your next closest match might be 5 hours away? And, most of us can't make that happen.
Yes, of elevation changes.
Elevation changes. Is it hot? Is it humid? All these things that may or may not make a difference. But the fact is that Orange County is getting points on the road when we typically don't. That might be why we're in second place when usually we're in like 9th going when we thought we'd be a little bit better than this. Maybe not this bad.
Random question. Did Clemson, you came from Clemson, right? Did they play on a turf pitch, I wonder? Because he looked very comfortable out there.
Let me just look it up for you while we're here.
Random thought that I had with producer Andy's comment. But
they happen to play at historic Riggs Stadium, and blah, 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 I can't read fast enough. It is grass.
Okay, maybe not. Never mind. Ignore it.
He's just a baller. He's unbothered.
He looked good.
He looked good. I like that. He looked good. Maybe Orange County didn't, but he looked good. Mikey, anything you want to share here?
No, I already said everything I had to say.
I love that. I love that. That's fine. We can move on from this match. Of course, there's nothing going on this Saturday. You can enjoy a wonderful weekend off. Next up will be AV Alta, and we can complain all about that existence of Lancaster, of the club, of what is certainly going to be one of Orange County's more physical matches this season next week. So please join us then. In the meantime, for those of us who are a little more, well, it's actually pretty close to home. Obviously, Orange County's on the road for the next God knows how long because of the U.S. national team. And today, Pochettino did announce his 26-man squad for the national team. I don't know if any of us have it up in front of us. Brad does. Thank you for showing your hand, Brad. Which player are you most excited to see?
I'm obviously just going to name the top 2. Christian Pulisic, Florian Balogun. These are the, Christian Pulisic's been Mr. America, Captain America, since the role got handed off to him a couple world cycles ago. But he's, the best known top player that we have. Florian Balogun, I know I'm saying that absolutely incorrectly. I see Dylan's face. But he's the player that the team has kind of been asking for, to replace someone like a Josie Altidore in a true striker position. And giving those 2 players the spotlight and, the torch to really move in this World Cup cycle is going to be hugely important. But I am a little bit of worried about kind of some of the snubs that we had on this roster. Diego Luna came and really performed quite strongly over the last year to get himself an opportunity to be on this team, and he's not there. And Tanner Tessman as well, I think honestly should be here as well. I'm not going to go into what about isms of who they should be replacing, but I think both of those names should be on that list.
I honestly completely forgot that Tanner Tessman existed, and that is probably so disrespectful to him. But I didn't realize it was Lyon. Truly, the last I heard of him, he was at Venezia, which was, I don't know, what felt like 5 years ago. So here we are. Matt, will you provide your thoughts, vibes, stoicism? I don't know.
First and foremost, I want to say pour one out a little bit for Chris Richards. That is heartbreaking to miss the World Cup when you're looking to be right into your prime, becoming a leader in the team. Going to be definitely a loss. Very sad to see. Well, hopefully Chris Richards is fine. I see he's on the roster, but it looks like he might not make the games. We'll see.
He's in fact in training right now. So
is he? Okay, I know he got hurt. I know he wasn't looking great. So we'll see what happens. But if he can play, that's great. I'm really hoping that he's back to full fitness before it starts and can actually play games. Tim Ream makes me so angry. Love the man, but if he starts games, I'm going to lose my mind.
I think everyone's been saying
I can't. I just can't. I can't anymore. How can we not do better? But we'll see. Really happy to see Tyler Adams, Weston McKennie in there. They're obviously some of the first names on the team sheet, but haven't been around sometimes due to injuries and stuff like that. So glad that we're not going into this World Cup with a host of injuries to some of our best players that we're really going to need. Just really happy to see that. Pooley needs to turn it around a little bit. Hasn't looked great for him for the last few months, but hopefully he can show up when it counts. I think we have an exciting team. I think we can do bits, as they say. But we'll see. I could see this team having a really disappointing group stage and not making it out. I could see this team getting to the last 8. It's going to depend on how that home crowd is. I'm really sad about how much tickets cost to go see them because I'd love to go see them in LA, but don't think it's going to happen. So
that's fair. I do want to mention, Mikey, I'll ask you in a second. I do want to mention the fact that the United States claims that they're having a send-off match for a tournament that they are hosting. And I just don't think that's allowed. I just don't think that's how it works. Mikey, do you care about the national team? I've actually never heard you say a word about it before.
A little bit, not too much. Not a big fan, but yeah, I root for the boys in blue. Definitely want to see Sergio Dest and Anthony Robinson rip up the defense. That's who I really want to see.
Fair enough. I mean, you've read my mind of asking who you're most excited about. And this is why we get along. This is why we can terrorize Floridians so well together. I'm obviously, let me just bring us all back down. Brad, it is Folarin Balogun. Maybe just start calling him Jerry. That's I think his middle name. But now we know.
Just call him Ballo. Just skip everything.
Yeah, there you go.
It's Ballo.
And I find myself underwhelmed consistently by the U.S. national team. I find myself annoyed that they're playing and they're training in Orange County, I should say. I do wish we could just be at home. I don't know what it is about the youth that got me back into soccer was watching every single match of the 2014 World Cup. And everything was perfect and it was so amazing. And now I just find myself tired of it and I don't know what's changed. So perhaps it'll come back. I hope.
3 weeks.
I find myself just over internationals. I don't care about this at all. The World Cup is not at all exciting. I am not sick of Orange County. I could watch Orange County play twice a week, every week for probably the rest of my life and never be sick of it. But, to just be nice and negative, I think the U.S. national team is maybe best exemplified by the fact that if you look at their roster photos on their website, none of them are properly or uniformly zoomed in nor white balanced. And we're the hosts.
And
What are
with
we
that,
doing?
and with that, we can all cry until the cows come home with how this World Cup process has gone between pricing for tickets and everything, but it's almost here. I'm ready to watch some soccer, but unfortunately, there will be no Orange County soccer this week. Dylan, you want to take us home?
It was a great segue. I promised I was actually done whining, but all the same, yes. We won't see you at the champ for, 7 or 10 weeks or something like that, but we will be here next Tuesday. For Mikey, thanks for being here. Matt, Brad, as ever. For producer Andy, and for everybody, this has been the Orange and Black Soccer Cast.
Damn it, Everton. You had one
Damn it,
job.
Everton.
They
And we
did.
were out.
Damn. Yep. I agree with you, Matt.
And
One
we are
freaking
out.
job.